Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the Cylinder 4 cooling mod. Of course, we bought the Get a Dom Tune original Cylinder 4 cooling mod. We want to support him and what he's done for the community. If you were here for last weekend, we did the IAG AOS install. That was an adventure to say the least. I know that was a super long video with not the best editing, so if you haven't watched that and you want to watch someone struggle to do something relatively easy, go watch that. It is full of chapters and timestamps, so you can skip around and only watch the parts that you're interested in or the parts that I have labeled as kind of comical. So, what are we doing? We are, like I said, we are doing the Cylinder 4 cooling mod, the original from Get a Dom Tune. This should be pretty straightforward. We've got our sealer here to actually seal this guy into the engine block. We have our 2019 STI, so let's get this started. I just wanted to take a second to update you guys on the contents of the Get a Dom cooling mod. It looks like it has been updated yet again. We now have a right angle-ish hose, and it is no longer pre-installed on the barb. Step number one, let's get the car jacked up. I've only actually jacked the car up on the side frame rails to swap my summers and winters before, so we're going to try and jack up just the front using the jacking point right in the center behind the tray. So let's get that done. Yeah, that ground is cold. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's hard to see the spot, I feel like. Well, maybe that'll help. Maybe we take the tray out first. Let's give that a shot. Alright, let's see if we can't get this tray all the way off. I feel like my tray's supposed to have more clips or bolts than this. Yep. Well, this just goes to show you, I've never done any of this work myself. I took this car to a performance-oriented shop here in Denver. It's only ever been to them and the Subaru dealer. And if you care about your car and you want things done right, you have to do it yourself. The car's only got 30,000 miles, 26,000 miles on it. Are you serious? Yeah. Well, it is what it is now, guys. We move on. Alright, so we've got the tray out. Now maybe we can actually see that jacking point. Maybe I can do this once off. Can't see that. Can we do this one forward? Oh, yeah, okay. All right, we got the car up, we got the jack stands under. I always like to lower the car just until the jack is no longer holding it up, and then of course go and check each jack stand. And then this may be extra, but I always wiggle the car as well. You know, 30 extra seconds now could save your life. We did see it drop a little bit more, so I'm going to do another shake test. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I didn't do it right. That's not going anywhere. Let's get our first look under there and see what we're dealing with. This will be my first sneak peek at the oil pan change. I did make that purchase, as well as the Koyo radiator. So next weekend we're doing one of those. We might do the radiator just to have a nice little breather for a minute there, something a little bit easier. Though this should be pretty easy. Good news, I don't see any leaks under the car. So this is the first time I've been under this car myself. Looking at it. Oh yeah, I see why people said we're gonna have to jack the engine up to do the oil pan. That'll be fun. Let's see if we can find this out. Oh, really? Is that actually it? Shoot, guys, that's not bad at all. There's no way that's it. I gotta check the video, but let's do a quick check on the video. Or instructions, if you will. Alright guys, I'm gonna take you under the car, see if I can't show you where this is. This is pretty well documented on the internet, of course, but you know, we're here to try and show you guys what we're doing or how to do it. So, obviously, I am on my back and I'm shimmying underneath the car right now. Oh, it's gonna be really hard to see. And I know my flashlight's gonna flash probably. I'm sorry about that. So, you can see drive shaft. We've got transmission. We keep going back. Keep on shimmying. We can see the steering knuckle. Right there, you can see a coolant line with the 2 bolts right there, and then right next to it you can see it. That is our plug that we need to take out after we drain our coolant. So it's really actually, given, like, if you compare it to the AOS install, this is super accessible. It's easy to say right now. We'll see how easy that plug is to get out and how easy it is to actually get the insert in there. But right now I feel pretty good. And then the coolant line we're tapping into, I believe it's going to be one of these two. I need to double check. I think it's the lower one. They both have insulation on them. But yeah, this is looking way more like there's way more room, and like it might be a little bit easier hopefully than the AOS install. So let's get out from under the car and drain the coolant. Minimize the mess that we're making here. Now you may be asking yourself, is he about to use that giant tub for his coolant? The answer is yes. Yes, I am. I'm putting coolant in, so I'm not too worried about it. Get the clamp off. Give it a bit of twist. Hopefully, hold on with the blade shot here. Oh, yeah. As expected, It is stuck on there pretty well. Let's actually adjust some of our stuff here a little bit. Do that out of the row. Maybe I can just use this to spin it, break it free. Nope. Boy. And you can also, I don't know if the camera is picking that up or not. Probably not due to the angle, but be careful doing this. I'm seeing the plastic flange on the radiator is definitely putting some bend on it while I try and break this hose free. Yeah, you see it moving? Oh, that guy is on there. Maybe we can use our channel locks to get on there a little bit better. There we go. Oh, give your head a rest here. And get ready for a huge mess. Now, hopefully with my giant tub here, it won't be too bad. But we're gonna see. Oh, still on there. We got some dirt starting. Not shot, guys. Oh, you can see. Really trying to learn from last weekend's video and at least give you guys something to look at or something useful to see. There we go. Almost there. All right. Bucket was a huge success, or a tub. I don't know, what do they call it? Tote. 46 quart tote. Huge success, would recommend. All right, so now we're gonna undo the radiator cap, let air in the system, let this guy drain. All right, we'll be back after it's drained, guys. Don't touch your camera with coolant hands. Alright, so 10-15 minutes later, I'm not entirely sure how long it's been. We've got a real slow drip on the hose. You know, I'm gonna call that sufficiently drained. So let's go ahead and throw the coolant hose back on there and get going on the next part. Oh, see if I can get a bit better angle for myself at least. All right. Oh, yeah, I cannot believe how much this intake is flexing. Definitely glad I am going to the aluminum radiator. There we go. Got that nice flush on there. Of course, I forgot a tool, so back up we go. All right. Wait, there's a distance to show. This is supposed to be the easy part. If you're ever struggling to put one of these on like I am, you'll probably notice that the back side is not even. There we go. Take something where you can safely push on that back side, and then you should be able to get it on. Give it a good tug, make sure it's good, and then forget that you want to wipe it up, so get up yet again. Alright. I just like to make sure that my stuff is clean. It's in as good or better condition than when I got there. It seems to be a rare quality, especially for mechanics these days, as we found when I realized that I was missing the majority of my, actually all of my clips, and possibly some of my bolts from my under tray. So we'll have to buy a bunch of those and get those put back the way it's supposed to be. That's pretty tight. Alright guys, so we have an impact socket, a large impact we're going to put on the end of the wrench. It's not a lot, but maybe it'll give me just the extra bit I need. Or it's going to let me hurt myself. Either one is a good possibility at this point. Oh yeah, that's oh yeah. If you don't succeed the first time, just keep grabbing random shit until you're happy. There we go. Success. This brush is a little bit bigger than I would like for this, but that seems to be doing a decent job. Typically I would use brake clean for this kind of operation, but I forgot to pick some up, so we're using a fresh Costco microfiber with Maxima suspension clean. I'll see if I can't remember to get that on camera later, which is a dirt bike solvent, but that stuff works real good. Oh, I see that we've lost our focus. That's good news. Now we're just going to do a test fit first, but since I don't have a 1-inch crow's foot, I took the nylon insert out of my 1-inch deep well lug nut socket, and hopefully that will get us what we need. I think I'm going to thread it in by hand first. All right. Oh, yeah. Works pretty well, guys. Get some here. A little iffy about the thread. Sounds good. A little further in there. Looks fine. That's about what we got last time. There we go. Well, it's got a lot of thread on it, so. We've gone through a lot of thread, so there's no way. Boy, be careful with that. No way we're cross-threaded or anything. If we go back and check the threads, they look good. So, plus maybe we just loosened a bit more debris. Actually, let's do that. Let's grab the rag and the cleaner now that we've threaded this in a little bit. See if we can't get a little bit more gunk out of there before we send this guy home. So personally, I think the easiest access to get in there is to lay with your feet sticking out the front, with your head on the right hand side behind, and then you can get your left hand up in there. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yep, we got some more gunk out of there. Doing that. There we go. Let's see if that thread's any better now. I just realized it's not blocking your view. Oh, goodness. I'm afraid you guys don't want to get that way. Oh, yeah. Half the thread. Sorry about the way. We're going to go a bit deeper than last time. Alright. Twice. Boy, be very careful with dropping that in there like that. Almost couldn't get it out. So I put quite a bit on. Let's move. Again, this does not need to be very tight. Just keep going until it starts to get tight. There we go. Oh, okay, yep. Gets pretty tight. I'm just gonna give it a good. Oh yeah. Perfect. Nice little bit squished out around the sides. That looks good to me. Just for good measure. Put that back on there. Yep. So, if we push that guy on there, and then yeah, we can just go right up there, I guess. Yeah, you can see it coming out there, and then it goes up, and then we're gonna put a cut right up, kind of where the insulation starts. I think is where I'm gonna cut it and put the T. All right, guys, when you cut that hose, do not underestimate the amount of coolant that is in there that is going to fall out on top of you. So that was fun. All right, so the part I think I struggled with the most was getting the hose clamps tightened. But you can see here we've got the hose goes up. The right angle side is the one that connects to the T. I have mine twisted a little bit just so we've got plenty of room here on the steering knuckle. Let me grab this and see if I can. Yeah. So I could have potentially trimmed that hose a little bit to reduce that kink. I wouldn't even say it's a kink, that bend, but I'm pretty happy with this overall. Those hose clamps weren't terrible to tighten. This So that guy kind of sucked. I used a ratcheting socket from the left-hand side, and wasn't terrible. So at this point, I think we are done down here, and we can put the cover back on and get this thing finished up. All right, let's get the underbody tray thrown back on. Actually, I think unfortunately I don't have any backup. To replace the ones that are gone, so that sucks. But I'll order some, and then we'll get this back here, right? Got this order. Too many. We'll get those ordered. Let's see what else we're missing. It's all sorts of stuff. There's supposed to be some clips back here. I guess they clip the frame. Oh, darn. Tell us it's starting to suffer from it as well. Yeah, all my side clips are gone. Come on, guys. It's just... have some pride in your work. If you're gonna break it, replace it. Like, you don't even need to take the pan off to do the oil change. Why are all these missing? Of course, they're all missing on this side too. It's just rude, guys. It's rude. That's rude, but that's alright. It is what it is. Alright. Zap these on real quick. Yeah, we got some work to make. So that concludes day one. Now we gotta let the car dry for 24 hours or so before we can fill it with coolant, burp the coolant. Not bad overall. Yeah, pretty easy install. Definitely, you're gonna get covered in coolant most likely. If you don't, impressive. The right tools, as always, make all the difference. It would have been a little bit easier to cut the heater hose if I would have had better hose cutters. So that might be something you want to look at picking up. About 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer. The car has just sat here in the garage. I tried to keep the garage relatively high temperature. So at this point, we should be plenty good to fill this guy with coolant, burp the system, check for leaks, and call this done. So let's get started. All right, let's go. I have no idea how much this should take. We're using brand new coolant. I've got 3 gallons. Hopefully that's enough. We'll do a quick sanity check under the car, make sure we're not pouring coolant out. All right, seems fine so far. Alright, so we're just kind of keeping track. Probably put about half a gallon in so far. I expected to need quite a bit more, looking at what we took out. Okay, we're getting close to a gallon. Gonna massage these radiator hoses. Oh no! That's fine. Probably let a little bit of air in there. So that's 1 gallon. And you guys could see when I was massaging that lower radiator hose, we were definitely getting quite a bit of air to come out and taking down quite a bit. Alright, so yeah, so you may notice that we're getting Coolant splash kind of all over the place as it bubbles. It's not terrible, but about 48 degrees. Just got to keep your eye on that coolant level and make sure that we don't start sucking air in as it starts sucking coolant down. And it is 2:30 right now. We're going to do this for 20, 25, 30 minutes or so. And make sure you're keeping an eye on your temperature gauge as well. Nice and hot. I went ahead and turned the heater off. I'm going to let it go back up to the thermostat temperature one more time. Make sure that's all good, but I think we'll be wrapping this up pretty soon. Alright, y'all. Everything working like we expect. Things are looking good. Let's go ahead and button this up. So my car took probably a gallon and 2/3 or a gallon and 3/4 of fresh coolant. We're about to put quite a bit back in, so you do the math. Last time I did this, I put the stopper in way too hard. Just barely put that guy in there. Hopefully I don't make a huge mess. Easy. We've got a little bit of coolant right there. Soak that extra up with a rag. That's it. Job done. And that is the Cylinder 4 cooling mod install. This is a pretty easy install, guys. I would not be too intimidated by this one. So we did go ahead and purchase the Koyo radiator and the IAG pan with baffle Street Series. We got those from Flatirons Tuning. Not sure. Hopefully we get them by next weekend. I'd be pretty shocked if we didn't have them for next weekend. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. If you have an opinion on that and you'd like to see one done before the other, please go ahead and drop a comment. I'm also interested if anyone has run any of the dual gauge pod vent options like SMY, etc. Looking at how I can mount my gauges, since that is coming right up on the list here. So if you have any feedback, if you have experience running those, I'd love to hear about it in the comments as well. If you liked this video, if I helped you in any way, shape, or form, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like. If you want to continue watching me build this car up to 400 horsepower, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.